Morning. I pause for a moment just to get you to think a little bit about how you feel when you experience that pause. I call it the power pause. Hi, Mary Lou. The power pause. Here's the deal. When we get into discussions with people that have a different opinion, that they have their own set of values and their own feeling of what's right for them or right for you or right for everyone, we get into these discussions, arguments, if you will. Oftentimes the conversation elevates, it moves higher, the tones get higher, the volume gets higher, the selection of words becomes more and more frantic, if you will. And when we get emotionally expanded into a big discussion like this, and we get emotionally attached, our intelligence usually drops a little bit down because we're more radical in the things that we're saying. We probably would say things that we normally would not have said to someone. We would not have brought up in the conversation. So I say this for a reason. In good communication, from my point, now I'm going to talk about me when I'm talking with somebody else because I don't really care too much about what they're saying, in that I'm not going to be able to change what they're saying or change their opinion on anything. I've learned that over the years. You really can't do that. But what I do have to be in charge of is myself and how I'm going to respond. And so do you. You have the opportunity to be in charge of yourself. You can choose how you respond to an attack on you, if you will, an attack on your beliefs, your morals, whatever it might be, your position on something. How you respond to that is entirely up to you. It's not up to the other person. But oftentimes we give that up. We give it up to the other person when we become emotionally engaged with them and we start to yap, 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 yap. So I've taught this from the stage for many, many years, and I know it to be true. And in negotiation and in when you're trying to present something to someone that's different than they're used to hearing, a new idea, they want them to transform into something to say, hey, what about that? Is that even a possibility? Could that work? There's power in the nonverbal. There's power in the pause. And that's what I said today, the power pause. P-A-U-S-E. I hope I spelled it right. I think I did. Could be pause like a dog, could be... Anyway, I hope I spelled it right. The power pause. P-A-U-S-E. I paused in the beginning of my talk here today so that you might think, oh, does he know he's on? Does he know he's on live? Did your heart quicken a little bit? Did things happen? See, when you experience this pause from someone, your body goes into fight or flight. It will. It will say, can I help them? Is there something wrong? Are they having a stroke? Did they get hurt? What happened in this pause? So it causes the other person to shuffle and shift and maybe lose their footing, if you will, which is advantageous to you because then you're more apt to be able to make your point. Because if the conversation becomes heated, they're not listening to anything you're saying. You're probably not listening to what they're saying. There's a lot of talking going on, maybe yelling, screaming, shouting, but not much communication happening. Nothing's really going to change. So my advice on this, for your sanity, for your health, is for you to lower your shoulders, take a breath, breathe in and out a few times, rhythmic breathing when you're going to be in one of these discussions. And if somebody says something to you that may be affrontive a little bit and you're going, well, why would you say that? Well, that seems crazy. Don't just jump in there and say, oh, you're wrong. You can't do it this way. Here's the facts. Fact 1, fact 2, fact 3, fact 4, fact 5. They're not listening. They're not going to hear because they're already locked into an emotional attachment to whatever the discussion is that you're having with them. That's how this works. So if you want to have good communication, you're going to have to deflate that. You're going to have to disarm that, if you will. And the way you disarm is through the pause. They say something and you say, maybe a maybe 3 hms. Is that what you really meant to say? Is that what you really meant to get across to me? And then pause again. And ultimately what will happen is they'll talk themselves into a spider web and they're going to realize that they're not going to be able to win this discussion with you if it's a discussion that somebody could win. My point being today that it's impossible to change someone else's mind about the way they feel about something, really. It's really about impossible. You know this is true if you're talking politics with your family or you're talking about with your friends or somebody else has a different point of view on something. You're probably never going to be able to change that. So why get invested in that? Why would you invest your time, energy, strength and health into trying to convince somebody else of your position. It's a complete waste of time. It's like trying to make a pig sing, you know. It's just not going to happen, and you annoy the pig. And I say this because we all have discussions like this in our day. We all have times where we're going, wow, I wish that was totally different. It can be totally different, and let me tell you how. It can be totally different in how you respond to it, how you feel about it. The feelings that you have are a choice based on something that you're experiencing. What you're seeing out there, you're projecting out there. You're creating your reality. We create our reality. And that's a hard one to swallow sometimes, to think, I didn't create that. I didn't cause that. Yeah, you did. And you brought that into your energetic field. That's how this works. So what you're seeing out there, you're bringing back, you're projecting out there what your life's going to be. You can change what you're looking at. You can change how you feel about things. You can change how you perceive things and what you put out there. And that's how you change your life, in my opinion. And I don't have all the answers. I just have a few answers. I've been around a while. You got some thinning hair up there. What's not turned gray is turned loose. That's all right. It's all right. And everything's going to be all right because you have a choice. You can either function in faith or fear when we're talking about this. So when you're going to use the pause, you're going to function in faith. Faith meaning that you know it's going to turn out okay. You know that the issue that you're having will be resolved. You know that it's going to be according to God's plan. You know that there's a big plan out there. You have faith in that. Or you could function from fear. Remember the seminars we've taught for many, many years with the coin? You flip it, faith or fear. How are you functioning most of your day now? Is it in faith or is it in fear? If you're in fear, you're constantly going to have these chances to argue with someone, or chances to have verbal disagreements, if you will, with somebody. You're going to always have these opportunities presenting for you because you have not learned the lesson yet, which is faith, which is you're not going to be able to change what they're going to say. So why would you give your time, energy, and effort to hear what they have to say? Why would you engage in a conversation with this? Sometimes silence is golden. Always silence is golden. And pause is the silence. Pause is the few seconds that you don't jump back and say something. You just give it some thought. You ponder it, if you will, for a moment. And that creates the feeling from the other person that you are in charge. You are thinking of solutions. You are thinking about resolutions, how we could resolve this situation that we're dealing with now. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. But you can resolve what's inside of you. I can resolve what's inside of me. And that's a tough one to swallow, let me tell you what. You have to work on it all the time. I work on it every single day. It's not easy. It's not easy. But it was easy, everybody'd do it. Everybody'd be happy, and we'd all be rich, and we'd all have peace in the whole world. And, you know, it's just not working out that way, doesn't seem to be. So we might as well, here's the way I look at it. I watch and talk to people that are really upset about this or that politically, and they're just always in a bad mood. They're always like, oh, that's so bad. It's so terrible. It's so awful. It's so awful. I can't believe he's doing that. I can't believe we're doing that. I can't believe I'm part of that politically, blah, 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 blah. Well, here's the way I look at that. It is what it is, period. End of story. It is what it is. There's no amount of worry that I'm going to do that's going to change anything that happens on the other side of the world. Not any amount of worry or involvement or anything I can do. It's not going to change it one little bit. So if I can't change anything one little bit, why would I even focus on that? Why would I think about that? It is what it is. I choose to be happy about it. And when the next political changes again in politics, I'll choose to be happy about it again. Because I can either be sad and upset about what's going on and get sick, or I can just accept and say, it's okay. It doesn't really affect me. It doesn't bother me. I'm not part of that. That's not me. The pause. Is that what you really meant to say? Did you mean to be hurtful about that with what you were saying to me? See, these are things that you can get good at. And it makes you feel a whole lot better because you'll feel in the end that you have controlled your emotions. And when you control your emotions, you control the conversation, you control your life. If you don't, and you let other people drive your emotions, you're at the mercy of whatever they're going to say and do. And you're going to fall into that trap and get snared and then wonder why it keeps happening over and over and over again. Pause. I'm thankful and grateful for pause in my life. I wasn't sure what I was going to do for the March, but that's what I'll do. It kind of came to me there. I'm going to be thankful and grateful. Mary Lou, I'm glad you're with me today. I'm going to be thankful and grateful for the pause in my life. You think about something that you need to pause for just a little bit. Think about a heated discussion. Think about an argument. Think about something that's happening that you don't really understand why. No matter what you do, you can't seem to fix it. You can't make it right. You can't make it better. That's life. That's the truth. You can't. All you can do is pause, self-reflect, come from a feeling of grace, gratitude, thankfulness, forgiving, best you can. Avoid conversations with people that are going to drag you down. Avoid those. Just don't go back and don't get in bed with that one again. I'm not going to do that anymore. So really, your silence, like the pause, the silence is just a longer pause. You could pause a whole relationship for a while if you want and just not engage with it, because it's not going to change from the other side. All you can change is how you respond. And if you're not liking the way it's turning out, just avoid that. Silence it. That's the big pause. Put that whole thing on pause. You can put a whole relationship on pause if you want. Pause, hit the button, and then go about your daily life and have a good time. Look for the good. Find the gold. That's what I'd recommend to do. Pause. Use that pause. I'm going to do the march today. I'm going to be thankful and grateful for the pause in my life. I like that. Thankful and grateful for the pause. So when we do this, I want you to think about something in your life that needs to be paused. I'll give you a moment. I'll give you a moment. Think about a pause. What would that be? Could be at work, could be with a family, could be a kid, child, sibling, parent, grandparent, boss, employee, neighbor. I'm pausing. Give you a chance. Give you a chance to reevaluate. What would you pause? I got a couple things in mind right now. I'm going to put on pause. Because I've thought about them. It doesn't seem to help anything. It doesn't seem to fix anything. So I'm just going to put it on pause. Then I'm going to go back there and work on my sawmill. I'm going to go over to the 323, the house we have downtown. I'm going to work on the floor over there that needs worked on. I'm going to think about my garden. I'm going to think about flowers that I'll plant over there. Flowers out here. Vegetables. The donkeys. That's what I'm going to focus on. That's what I'm in charge of. Not what's happening all over the world. Not what's happening in a big city somewhere. I don't care. Pause that. I don't need to go there. I'm pretty happy right here. Once you learn to be happy right where you are, the whole world changes. Got your pause? Okay. Here we go. Left foot out, right arm up. I'm thankful and grateful for the pause in my life. Thankful and grateful for the pause in my life. I am thankful and grateful. My eyes are closed now for the pause in my life. Hold that breath in. Okay? Let's switch the other way. I'm going to put my right foot out. I know it looks different on the picture here. I'm thankful and grateful for the pause in my life. Thankful and grateful for the pause in my life. Thankful and grateful for the pause in my life. And you got my eyes closed on that last one. If you feel too wobbly, move your feet a little wider apart. If you don't know how to do this, go to www.mortermarchmonday. Watch those videos. It's all free. It's a free neurological upgrade. Something Bill Gates will never give you. I'm thankful and grateful for the pause in my life. I'm thankful and grateful for the pause in my life. So we're half done. I'm thankful and grateful for the pause in my life. Thankful and grateful for the pause. Hope you're doing this with me. It just multiplies the more people who do it at once. That universal consciousness. I'm learning more about that too. Pretty interesting stuff. Thankful and grateful for the pause in my life. Thankful and grateful for the pause in my life. Thankful and grateful for the pause in my life. One more. I'm thankful and grateful for the pause in my life. For the pause in my life, I'm thankful and grateful. I'm thankful and grateful for the ability to pause, to control my emotions. I'm thankful and grateful for that. That's all you got to do. That's a good start for a Monday. I hope you're having a great month. I'll see you next Monday on Dr. Ted. Love you a bunch. Bye-bye.